Well, there's my coffee mug. Still warm. Well, the garden survived our winter chill. It was one night, 32 degrees, if it even got down to 32 degrees. None of the leaves on the tomatoes or anything looked like they wilted, so I suspect it really didn't even get down to 32. But we took those precautions just in case. Except for the sweet potatoes. They actually took a hit. So we're gonna get those harvested. We're just gonna take these fabric pots one at a time and dump them out on this sheet and see what we got. Oh, look at that. That's already not too bad. Nice. I'm kind of impressed so far and how easy it is to harvest out of these fabric pots. Some of them are growing through the bottom of the pot. Look how thick some of those vines got. Fabric pot number 5. So out of 5 3-gallon fabric pots, I believe those are 3 gallons, we got 18 medium to decent size, and then 5 little tiny tubers. I wasn't really sure what to expect with the fabric pots growing sweet potatoes. That was 18 nice sized tubers out of 5 pots. That gives me about 3.5 nice sized tubers per bag. In a 3-gallon pot, that's not too bad. I'm gonna put this soil right back into these bags and bury some of these roots and vines to see if we can save some of these plants through the winter to plant next spring. On this big bunch of vines that I'm gonna replant, just get those roots back under soil, I'm just gonna cut a lot of these off. I don't wanna have to support a whole lot of plant. I just wanna get these roots back under soil and put them in the greenhouse and see if we can get something out of that. Some of these slips we'll just start like we do in the spring by cutting off these leaves. We'll leave just a few leaves at the top and bury the rest. Look in the bottom of that bag right there. That vine grew right through that fabric pot. It's sticking to it with all those baby hair roots. You can see a little bit of the roots coming out of the bottom of the fabric pot. That's a nice bunch of roots there. I'm going to snip some of these. That should grow a new plant. I'm going to get 5 pots planted back up just to see if we can get them through the winter. And if this works, we harvested and planted all within 20 minutes. You've seen me use the root pouch fabric pot many times. This is one that I purchased. I like it. It's durable. It does the job. Well, I found this one called Grassroots Fabric Pots. And they're actually made in the USA, and I thought that was interesting. So I emailed them and I asked them if I could have a couple for samples. So they sent me a couple. This is one of the 2 that they sent me that is the floppy kind here. I don't really like to talk about products until I've used it for a while to make sure that I actually like it. Now, there's probably not a lot that could go wrong with a fabric pot. It's fabric, it's a pot. They're all gonna be pretty much the same. But the quality of the sewing, the quality of the material, how does it hold up over time? Those are all things that we can experiment with and just see which products we like better. So far, the root pouch has been really good for me. but I'm going to enjoy using these just to see how they work. So far in my YouTube career, I have not been fortunate enough to get paid for any of these promotions. In fact, it's not actually a promotion. It's just me testing products and showing them. The companies do benefit, which is why they don't mind sending me a couple for free. The first season that I used root pouch fabric pots, they sent me a few for free as well. Since then, I've purchased quite a few. I'm going to put all these sweet potatoes that I just put back in the soil in the greenhouse for the winter because I don't want them to get very cold. Since we're in here, I'm going to show you the other type of fabric pot. It's called a spring pot. It's called a spring pot because it actually has a spring in it that helps it hold up so you can plant in it without worrying about the sides flopping over. See, it's called spring pots. We'll experiment with those in the spring because they're spring pots. The greenhouse is kind of full. We got all of our plants that we put in the other night. My sweet potatoes down here. If it starts getting warm, I can open the vents and leave the door open, but for now it's still really cool, so I think it's good that they're just in here soaking up this heat. I'm pretty pleased with that harvest. I'll take the vines to the goats. I'll take my harvest to the kitchen. Actually, before we take our harvest inside, let's see if we can get a few sweet potatoes out of this round pen. Remember, everything that's in this little round garden here is volunteer. I didn't plant these. Well, not this season, I didn't plant these. Check out the vine on that right there. That is a big vine, so we're just gonna pull that up. We got a couple of tubers on there. I kind of want to try to harvest a lot of the big tubers out of here and leave the smaller ones, but cut the vines off to put this bed to rest for the winter. I'm just going to use the turning fork in this bed just to get a few of the bigger tubers. I'm not concerned about harvesting everything out of this bed. This is the bed that gave me the volunteers that I planted this season, so I kind of want to keep that going. I found a few, not many. I really don't want to dig around too much. I like the idea of that bed being my, like my source bed. It's going to grow up lots of vines every year that I can use for slips. And why would I dig around a lot with a fork in my hands when harvesting out of these bags is just so much easier? And I don't stab all the sweet potatoes with the fork. Hey goats. Thanks for joining me here in the Daddykirbs garden. I hope you got something out of that. It's always a pleasure sharing this time with you. I'll talk to you soon. The ducks like the sweet potato leaves.